2020 was a mind game. I'm sure that statement doesn't come as a surprise to a lot of my audience, but looking back critically and thoughtfully at the events and the statements made by the government and those in positions of power, I've found something that not a lot of people have seen. And in today's video, I would like to reveal this for you. It's going to give us power going forward. Everyone who can understand this and really comprehend what it means is going to have an advantage in the next few years. Now, we have to start someplace a little bit strange to get to where we're going. The first stop is here. It's really important how you say things because people won't necessarily remember what words or actions you used, but they'll remember how those words and actions made them feel. That's a critical piece of the puzzle that's missing. Now, I'm sure this is probably confusing a lot of people. Florida Maquis, why are you showing us a picture of Jillian Michaels? Well, Jillian Michaels said something a long time ago, and it resonates now. She said, if there's something I hate the most, it's feeling helpless and powerless. People will never forget those who make them feel this way. If you want to guarantee a visceral reaction from someone, an emotional reaction from someone, do something that makes them feel helpless or powerless. This is basic psychology and sociology 101. It doesn't matter if they are actually helpless or powerless. Just make them feel that way and see what happens. See, she's made the journey from one side to the other. I'm sure a lot of you know who she is, the exercise guru. This is her on the left and on the right. The difference between the two is the person on the right has had this epiphany about allowing their mind to take over their emotions. This is something that I have talked about for a long time. It's not that you don't have emotions. They just always have to be subservient to your thought life. That's the difference. The physical difference is only a result of that. Now, what does that mean for 2020? Psychology is the study of human thought and feelings. Sociology is the study of various cultures and societies. Kind of the subtext there is the psychology of various cultures and societies. Psychology and sociology are prereqs at every major college in the United States. If you're going to go to university, you're going to have to get these out of the way to graduate. And a lot of people hate the classes. They try to find a way to skip them. They get the Cliff Notes. But they are very important classes. Because everything you do in life, you're going to deal, it doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, whatever business you get into, marketing, sales, you're going to deal with people on a singular level, and you're also going to be dealing with society on a bigger level. Now, once again, okay, Maquis, we get all that. What does this have to do with 2020? College dropouts. College dropouts that could not be bothered to study psychology or sociology. Their actions, meaning you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't express this opinion, you can't express that opinion if we disagree with it. Their actions made people feel powerless and helpless and hopeless. You see, they didn't understand the psychology, the psychological or sociological effect of their actions by allowing others to speak and not allowing this other group, by promoting the speech of this one group, but then also shadow banning the speech of this other group. They didn't understand what they were doing because they are college dropouts. They couldn't be bothered with those stupid little first-year classes. Maybe if they had finished, maybe if they had listened to some professors, they would have been mentally equipped to be in the positions of power they're in now. This is what happens when you let uneducated, uncivilized people have positions of power. And somebody, at some point, needed to sit them down and say, hey, we know you skipped this part of college because you were just way too special and way too important to be bothered. But you missed something. Remember the picture I showed of Barack Obama? And the first thing he said was, we need to worry about these 74 million people. Say what you want about Barack Obama. He understands psychology. He understands sociology. He understands that when you marginalize large groups of people, it doesn't matter whether they're minority or whether they're majority or where they come from. When you do that, psychology and sociology will come into play. There's this old image that is used about Nero fiddling while Rome burned. And it's used every 4 years to try to make one group believe that government needs to do more because the last guy, oh no, our society was burning and he did nothing. All this kind of nonsense. You see, apathy is not the first stop. You see, you can have people who feel somewhat powerless and hopeless, but if you give them bread and circuses and a kind of a normal life, meaning they're well fed and well entertained, they will then make the leap to apathy. But that's not what 2020 was. 2020 took away everything from a lot of people and left them no other option. And make no mistake, everything is marketing. Everything is marketing. There were people out there that didn't know why they were angry, but they were. They were angry. And they were upset. And they felt trapped, and they felt powerless, and they felt hopeless. And if there's anything people hate, more than anything, it's feeling helpless and powerless, and that's what these guys did. And the reason they didn't know better than to do that, they didn't understand what they were doing, was because they are college dropouts. Both of them. Now, real quick, the statement, content builds relationships, relationships build trust, trust drives revenue. You see, they started down this road, but they didn't realize they were breaking the chain in this relationships part. They broke the trust, they broke the faith. And the reason I quickly glanced over to this image was because I'd like to ask my audience a question as we get toward the end of the video here. If you walked into a car dealership and you had a choice between getting in a car, and this is for both men and women, with the person on the left or either one of the two individuals on the right, who would you get in the car with and go for a test drive? Well, of course, most men and women would choose the person on the left. Why? Well, a lot of women would say, well, the guys would do it because she's pretty and cute. Well, that's just reality. But women would as well. Why? Because they'd feel safe. They'd feel more comfortable driving around in a car with another woman than they would a couple of older guys. Now, the older guys on the right might know a heck of a lot more about cars. You know, most guys are shade tree mechanics, and, you know, both of those individuals look like they're probably 40, 50, maybe older. So you have some experience with cars. So it wouldn't be a logical, clinical thought process that would go into that decision making. It would be an emotional one. Don't ever make anyone feel helpless or hopeless or powerless, no matter what you do. Because when you add that emotion to the event, you make it unforgettable. People are never going to forget the events of 2020 because of not the facts, because of the emotional attachment to it. That people were made to feel powerless and helpless and hopeless by their government and by the masters on social media as well. And it doesn't matter whether people were actually helpless or hopeless or powerless. The perception was. And perception is reality. It does not matter. When you make people believe that, it will be that. And the final thing that we will leave with is guys like Zuckerberg and Dorsey don't understand that part of the human condition. They think everything can be programmed. And truthfully, for them and their 2-year-old level of understanding, that might be the case. The Sheldon Cooper way of approaching life might be able to be programmed. But the rest of us, continuing to evolve, continuing to get better, continuing to become something more than what we are, it ain't going to work. No computer in the world stands a chance against a thinking, feeling human being, one especially that has the understanding of thought being in charge of emotion. And that's what brings us back here. Thought being in charge of emotion. It's just the reality. And like I said, she's been there. Some people think, some people are just born with good genetics and they're always strong and good looking and all this. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's work. It's work every day, and it requires a thought-based life and an understanding of psychology and the difference between allowing your emotions to rule the day or your thought. It's something these guys can't comprehend. They don't get it. 2020 was a mind game. Like, share, subscribe.